Hi there and welcome back to my art channel. So today I have another little Christmas card painting video for you. Bit of a tutorial maybe. Unfortunately, I missed a chunk of the painting process towards the end. I apologize for the way my hands are looking. They are in a terrible state because of all of the washing. And you know, I work in a chemist, so I have to wash my hands all the time or disinfect them. Yeah, they're not doing so well. Anyway, so I stuck down the sides of my little watercolor card that I had cut out, and yeah, I used lovely washi tape for that. I love the washi tape I have, even though I'm going to just throw it away in the end. And here I am sketching out my little owl. Isn't it really cute? I think the reference photo for this was from Pixabay. And I'm just kind of sketching in all the little feathers and the rough shape of the head. I guess it probably took me about 10 minutes maybe to sketch it, and it took me half an hour for the entire card. So just so you get a rough idea, you could probably, if it's a Christmas card, I'm sure you could also just trace it and then paint it. Who's going to care? Anyway, I do like to try and sketch freehand just to practice. So now I'm wetting the background so I can get a wet and wet effect. Using my silver black velvet watercolor brush for this and my Mission Gold watercolor paints. Just dabbing in some greyish blue and just some different blue tones. I can't actually tell you which blue I used. I kind of just mixed a load of colours together here, but you get the rough idea. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. If you want to get a darker blue and you only have one or two blues in your set, just mix in some brown. Some burnt sienna maybe, ultramarine and burnt sienna will give you a dark colour. And then you could maybe just add your cooler blue as well to give some variation, and it is a winter painting, so cool blue would also be fitting. And I always love a blurry background, that's why I love the wet and wet techniques. And there I'm using some green paint mixed with some blue to make a cool green, and I'm just sketching in some branches, some what are they called, pine branches, Christmas tree branches, whatever. And because the paper is still wet, it's kind of bleeding out a little bit, giving a blurry background. I don't like the way the tip of the branches are kind of roundy, but as the paper dries further, I'm going to go over it and sketch in some more lines to give a bit more definition to the branches and the leaves. The drier the paper gets, the less the paint spreads. So I have a bit of variation here. Here I'm dabbing in some white watercolor paint. It's something I rarely ever use, but I wanted to indicate some snow. I'd say probably white gouache would be more effective, but I didn't have any on hand. Or maybe I did. There's a blob of white gouache in my palette actually, but just seemed the fastest way to go. And now I've just taken some kind of dull brown and I'm sketching in some feathers. Just following the reference photo and leaving some parts of the feathers white and some are brown, just to get this nice pattern. And I'm just indicating some feathers. I'm not being terribly exact, just scribbling in some feathers there. The hardest part of watercolor painting is always preserving some white, especially if a lot of the feathers are actually white. Thinning out the paint a little bit, adding some blue here and there into the brown, giving it a bit more of a greyish tint probably. The lovely thing about watercolours is the paint does a lot of the work for you, and it's so easy to get a lighter colour. You don't have to start mixing entire new colour, you can just thin it out a little with some water. I'd say watercolour is probably one of the fastest mediums to work in, really. You just have to have a little bit of control and practice. Working around the bird's chin. And the edge of his head. Just continuing this until most of his body is covered in little feathers. I'd wet that bit of the top of his head so the paint is blurring out a little bit. So I'm terribly sorry about that. My phone just turned off for some reason. I don't think that has happened before. That's unfortunate. I thought I was filming the entire time. This is what the finished little painting looks like. It took me about half an hour to film. And yeah, I think it turned out cute. I added a few little metallic highlights on the branches. Yeah, I think it's nice. I hope you enjoyed the video despite the end of it being missing. And yeah, I hope to see you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.